Hello everyone, today we are going to see a very new model for ComfyUI to generate image from a prompt, and the model we are talking about is the image. So what is the image? The image is a brand new model that works with 6 billion parameters, and if you are not into this kind of stuff, or you don't pay attention to the number of parameters of a model, this is a very low number. So the new Flux2 for example, is 32 or 36 billion parameters, and QuenImageEdit is 26, if I'm not mistaken. So 6 is a very low number of parameters. So why I'm making a video about this? Because with only 6 billion parameters, this model is very good at following prompt, at creating realistic image, and even text. So why this can change the game? Because with 6 billion parameters, of course, your generation are super quick. You can generate very good images with very low VRAM. And with other models, like for example Quan, or for example the new Flux, you can do it, or you need a scaled down version, so a GGUF version of the model. But with this, with only 6 billion parameters, you can run this model with very low VRAM. I'm talking about 8, 12 gigabytes of VRAM, 16 if you want to run it very comfortably. And also, it is very quick. So I'm talking about 3-4 seconds for a generation, 10 seconds max. So this is very good news. And also, another good news is this one is the turbo version, so the super fast version. But they are going to release the image-based version and also the editing version. So if they work like this model works, we are going to see really interesting stuff in the next future. So I let you see some of the example that they've made. So as you can see here, the images that they've generated are very realistic. The quality is very good. And so, of course, I want to test it and see how it is, because of course this can be cherry-picked image, and I want to test it and see if what this model can do. So as you can see here, it's very good at the text. I can't read the Chinese, but the English one, are very good. And I believe even the Chinese, because if you cherry pick something with the wrong spelling of the Chinese, you are not doing your work. So I believe that even the Chinese in this example is right. Of course, this is a Chinese model like Wen, for example, or like One. So of course they put the Chinese in here. Here's the logic behind the model, how the model works. And so let's start to test this, and of course, after we test it for a bit, I will let you see how to install it and run it into your ComfyUI. So let's go into ComfyUI. I've already generated an image just to make things quick, but we are going to generate more images. So the workflow is as simple as possible. We have the load diffusion model, and of course, we load up our model, load clip, load VAA, positive prompt, negative prompt, K-sampler, empty latent image, VAA decode, and save image. Actually, later on I will change it to preview image, because of course I prefer preview image. But anyway, let's start with see what this model is capable of, and after all we are going to see all of these and how to install it and run it locally on your ComfyUI. So the prompt was a beautiful white-haired woman, so check. Wearing a green dress with an intricate mandala on it. So as you can see, the green dress is here and the mandala is here, so check. She's wearing flip-flops, yes. She has black nail polish on her hands, and as you can see, she does. And white on her feet, and it is white nail polish. Also, the fingers are very real. She is smiling, check. She is in her living room with a blue sofa and a picture of a bear on the wall. The picture of a bear, I mean, it is a bear, but it's not complete. But the prompt was followed precisely, and the girl looked very realistic. So this one was just the first prompt when I was installing the model to see if everything works properly. So now I remove this and I go with preview image because I prefer this way. Now let's start to look at other prompts, and I will go into more complicated one So now we have this prompt. I'll click run. In the meantime, I will read the prompt so that you can see how fast it is to generate the image. So I run it. A cyberpunk samurai girl standing on a rainy soaked rooftop in Neo Tokyo at night. Okay, the image is already done, but I'm reading. Neon reflection on her chrome katana, wet hair sticking to her face, lead tattoos pulsing under her skin, flying traffic, streaking lights behind her, volumetric fog, cinematic rim lightning, ultra-realistic skin pores, and dynamic pose mid-turn. I mean, look at this. This is insane. It's super quick, it is very realistic, even the tattoos, the neon, the katana here, the rain, the wet on her hair and on her body. This is incredible. Now, let's see another one. I'm going fast because I want to let you see how fast it is, this model, and how realistic it is. So, a quirky medieval alchemist with a huge book strapped to his back, mixing glowing liquids in floating glass flask. It is already done. Wooden cabin filled with scrolls, magical symbols rotating in the air, warm candlelight combined with cold moonlight from the windows, stylized fantasy illustration with exaggerated proportion. I mean, look at this. Look at the details. And the prompt was followed, I will say precisely. The moonlight, the book, the giant book on his back, she is doing some potion stuff. I mean, this is impressive. Let's try another one. This time we have a black and white style with subtle metallic highlights reflecting the city neon. And this is a trenchcoat android detective leaning against a flickering street lamp in a noir sci-fi city. Raining falling diagonally, a steam rising from vents, broken hologram blinking. I mean, look at this. So, in this case, okay, it's not raining diagonally, it's raining normally, but look at the lightning, look at the quality of the trench, the quality of the black and white, the smoke here. I mean, this is very, very, very impressive. Let's try another one. This time we have a Viking shield maiden in mid-swing during a battle, snowstorm around her, and so on. Let's click run, and the image is done. So, as you can see, Viking shield maiden, she's in the middle of the battle, it is snowing. Look at the ground here, at the realism of the ground and of her clothes. I mean, I'm really, really impressed with the power of this model. It is super quick, very realistic, it follows prompts exactly. I mean, this can be a game changer. You can run this locally and create a lot of different stuff. So now, let's see something with writing on it, because they say here in the explanation that it is even very, very good with text. So let's try something with some text on it. Look at this generation. A female underwater explorer swimming near ancient ruin with written subscribe, and as you see, subscribe, surrounded with colorful fish. I mean, look at this generation. Okay, the subscribe, of course, it gives away, but if you see a pic like this, you think that it is a real pic. This is very, 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 very good. Now, let's see with other text, because this time I go with subscribe in all capital letters with an exclamation mark, which it does. Let's try with different kind of things. A realistic young street photographer in Tokyo at night, wearing a black hoodie with bold white printed text on the back that reads Urban Vision, and as you can see, the text is correct. neon lights reflecting on the asphalt, and so on. So text, great. The texture of the skin, the realism of this guy is amazing. Now, this one is a little bit more complicated because we have two different texts and two different fonts. So let's see if it goes. A realistic middle-aged book owner arranging books beside the store post that reads Autumn Reads, elegant serif title case, Autumn Reads, perfect. Discover your next favorite story, lowercase cursive script, discover your next favorite story. Warm indoor lighting, shelves packed behind them. I mean, this is incredible. The text is super coherent with the prompt, the two different prompts and two different way of showcasing. I mean, this is impressive. Let's try another. A woman sitting at a French cafe table holding a chalkboard menu written in mixed typography. Café du matin, classic serif, so Café du matin here, and croissant, cappuccino, and tartine. Tartine, I mean, it's pronounced that way. I don't even know. I'm not French. So, and written chalk style, sunlighting, heating her face, shallow depth of field. So, croissant, cappuccino, tartine, and it is exactly as in the prompt, because here we don't have, as you can see, if I put it, and also the sunlight, it is very, very realistic, and her face is very, very realistic. I mean, it is impressive. Let's see. And as you can see now, it's all in place. So café du matin, croissant, cappuccino, and tartine. I think it's pronounced that way. So correct me in the comments if I mispronounce tartine. But anyway, the prompt was followed super, super precisely. So now let's try with some other stuff. Maybe let's try with a landscape just to see. But I mean, the characters are very, very, very realistic. So let's see something that it is not a character. So let's say a beautiful landscape. So this is the first one, a wide panoramic view of a modern coastal city at sunrise, skyscraper reflecting warm golden light, glass tower with crisp reflection, subtle morning fog drifting between buildings, and so on. I mean, in this case, I even change the size of the image to have a landscape. And so if we zoom in, as we can see, we have the city in the sunlight. It is a coastal city because there is the sea with the skyscraper and so on. Now let's try another one. This time we have a vast untouched mountain valley with a crystal clear turquoise river winding through tall pine forest. Snow-capped peaks in the distance, soft clouds hugging the mountainside, morning mist hovering over the water. Okay, here in the back. Rock covering moss, wildflowers in vibrant colors, gentle sunlight breaking through the trees creating soft God's rays. That is not followed because it is a bit cloudy here. Hyper-realistic nature texture, high details on foliage, serene atmosphere. But I mean, look at this. This is great. Even the angle of the camera and the focus of the camera. This is very, very, very good. And now let's see something a little bit more fantasy. So an enchanted forest glowing with bioluminescent plants and floating particles of light. Ancient twisted trees with shimmering blue leaves, glowing mushroom illuminating the ground, luminous vines wrapped around roots, a crystal clear pond reflecting a soft purple and teal sky, tiny magical fireflies swirling gently, soft fog layers, ethereal ambient lighting, mystical and dreamlike atmosphere. And so, as you can see here, we have our fantasy enchanted forest with bioluminescent trees and mushrooms and fireflies all over. I mean, this is amazing. This is very, 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 very good. Now, we have seen a lot of examples from realistic characters to fantasy characters with different scenes, different lights, different angles, and we saw something with text, with multiple text, and even some landscape. Now, we tested how we install this model into our ComfyUI. This is super simple. You need a little bit of space, but not too much. It's just 12 gigabytes for the model and a few gigabytes for the clip, the VIE, and so on. So I will let you so right away, and I will leave all the link in the description. So let's go over this page, comfyanonymous.github.io. Of course, I will link all of this in the description. So this is the name of the model, ZImage, and you have to download 3 files. So very, very easily. You have to download a Qwen safe tensor, so a text encoder from Qwen, because we are using the text encoder of Qwen. So if you already have this text encoder, you are already set up, but if you don't, you need to download this, the diffusion model, of course, and a VIE safe tensor. 3 stuff total. So let's see how to download it and where to place it. Of course, here you already have where to place it in your ComfyUI models text encoders, ComfyUI models diffusion models, ComfyUI models VIE. But let's see it one by one. So the Qwen text encoder, if we click it, we are here. Now you can do 2 things here. You can click copy download link if, for example, you are using Jupyter Lab. So if you run ComfyUI into RAMpod, you copy the download link, you go into your Jupyter Lab, you go, I will let you see from the beginning, so let's start from the beginning, ComfyUI folder, you double click, too quickly, so ComfyUI folder, you go into models, and since here, as you remember, we are going to download a Qwen safe tensor text encoders, we are going to go into the text encoders folder. Now we open up a new tab here, we go into terminal, we go wget, we paste the link that we have downloaded, and we press enter. I've already done, so as you can see, I already have, this is the safe tensor that I have, but I'll show you really quick, I delete it, so that I can let you see. And so I press enter, and the download is started. So this is the method if you run ComfyUI on RAMpod, and so you use Jupyter Lab to download your stuff. If you are running ComfyUI locally, it is very, very simple. Instead of clicking copy download link, you just click download. It will download directly in your PC, and in your PC you go into your ComfyUI folder, models, text encoders, and you will paste it in the text encoders folder. So as you can see, this is 8 gigabytes and it is downloaded. This was the first of the 3 files that you have to download. So we go back, we have the diffusion model, so we open up the page of the diffusion model, that is this one. If you are running Jupyter Lab, you copy the download link. If you are running locally, you download. After you copy the download link, this time is the diffusion model, as you can see here. So you go into models, diffusion models, and again, you open up a new tab. Make sure you are in the diffusion models, as you can see. You go with wget, you paste, and enter. And so, as you can see, I have already downloaded, of course, and this is the ZImage Turbo. So, to download it. Last one, the VIE safe tensor. So again, you open up the page, copy the download link if you are in Jupyter Lab, download directly if you are in your local machine. So in this case, I'm using Jupyter Lab, so I copy the download link. And this time, this is a VIE, so I go into models and VIE. I open up a new tab, wget, paste, enter, and as you can see, I already have what I need, because in this case, if we go back, is VIE SafeTensor, a.SafeTensor, and I already have it here. So I SafeTensor. I have it double. I don't know why I downloaded it twice, but as you can see, this is not very heavy. It's 319 megabytes. Of course, the most heavy stuff is the image turbo safe tensors, because it is a diffusion model and it is 12 gigabytes, as you can see. So with 21 gigabytes, 22 gigabytes, you will have everything that you need. Once you have downloaded all the three stuff, you can drag and drop this image into ComfyUI and you will have the workflow, or just download the workflow that I've put in the description. It is pretty much the same. I just remove one thing here that we don't need and I preview image instead of save image. And of course, later on, I will put the color that I usually put in my ComfyUI workflow so that it's easier to understand. But this is just a thing that I like to do. So, of course, I will leave you the workflow in the description, and this is how you can download and play around with this Z-Image Turbo model here. Now, another thing worth to mention is an error that I've got during my initial testing. So I have a screenshot. So if you see an error like this when you run it for the first time in ComfyUI, this can be scary as hell, because I mean, look at this. This is an ungodly amount of errors, and you see what is happening here. But don't worry, this is something very, very easy to resolve, and I let you see right away. So if you click run in your workflow after you install all of the nodes that you need and you see this error, don't panic, just go into the manager and click update ComfyUI, because you need to update it, and in the version 0.3.75, that is the current version. So it is just a matter of your ComfyUI is outdated. You just need to update the ComfyUI. So update it, restart it, and you should be more than fine. And here is how you use Z-Image Turbo and how you download it into ComfyUI. Now let's see really quickly how the workflow works, but it is very, very simple. We have the load diffusion models, the load clip, and the load VAE, because we are working with a model, we are not working with a checkpoint. So as you remember from the previous lesson, the clip, the model, and the VAE are separated when you're working with a model. So load diffusion model, clip, and VAE. We have our positive prompt, our negative prompt. This is self-explanatory. Here you put what you want to see, and here you put what you don't want to see. The case sampler, and let's do it right away. I'll make it blue as usual in my workflow. So case sampler, you have of course the load diffusion model connected, the clip is connected to the positive and to the negative, and the negative into the negative, the positive into the positive, as you can see with the yellow spaghetti. The empty latent image, let's make it purple as I like. This is your empty Canva. This is what it generates from the prompt and the empty Canva. The VIA decode to decode what you are inputting, so make it brown, and as always, our preview image. If you like to save directly, you can go with a save image node. So a very simple workflow, very basic workflow, but with this model is a super powerful model and very quick, fast, with low VRAM. So this could be a game changer for a lot of people, because if you are running locally in your local machine, you can run it even if you have low VRAM. So I leave you every single link in the description. Let me know if you like it, let me know if you test it, how your test was, and of course I will see you in the next time. But before leaving, of course, inside my community right now I'm testing a not safe for work kind of stuff, because of course with new models we always want to test some not safe for work stuff. So If you want to see all there is with this model, join the community, is free.